Yo, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installation of the Barnhart Chronicles. It is so good to see you, especially you right there behind that screen. I had a conversation with some older fellows earlier this week, and we were discussing the current condition of society, specifically with the youngsters and the economy and all that kind of business. And to be real with you, the my interlocutors weren't very optimistic about the future. And I had to really set them straight. And you gotta think, as a young man talking to some older people, I might be out of place, giving them advice or trying to give them perspective. But at the same time, I feel like, we all have something to offer each other. If we open our ears, we could learn something new every day if we try. And that's why you guys are here. In my vast studies of history, I have come across many empires and cultures and nationalities and countries and states and all that kind of business. So many have come and gone. You think of the Romans, you think of the Athenians, the Corinthians, the Spartans, you think of the Cretans, you think of the Phoenicians, you think of the Egyptians, all the different kinds of Egyptians, you think of the Mongolians, you think of the Empire of Japan, I'm sure they had one. And they all have a similarity. They're not here anymore. In fact, all governments, all countries, everything has a 100% expiration date. I was going to say failure rate, but I don't. Just because something comes to an end doesn't mean it fails. I mean, I find that such a bad way of putting it. Just because a song ends doesn't mean the song failed. Things have to come to an end. Otherwise, there's no new beginnings. All empires come and go. And when I say empire, again, it's just a blanket term for a nation or a country or whatever, a people. Just like when a tree grows, it is guaranteed to fall one day. When a person is born, they are guaranteed to die one day. When you make a car, it is guaranteed to stop working one day, unless you have a sunfire. Those things last forever. And you'll find that it's the same thing with empires. They always come and they always go. So with that being said, we can discuss all the various stages an empire will go throughout its life cycle. But instead, I want to keep it simple, and we're going to talk about 3 indicators that your empire is probably in its last stage. Or at least 3 things that, if they are prominent in your society, things are probably going to get rough. Because there are signs that instability is coming down, just like a tree who has a lot of cracks in it, maybe a lot of dead branches, and the leaves aren't growing all that good. Those are just indicators that, the tree might be coming down soon. So the same thing goes for an empire. These are the 3 things you should be looking for. Maybe you can find them in yours. The first indicator that an empire is falling, or is it in its last stage, is a lack of trust. All right. Before we get started. All right. If you are living in a society or a community or a neighborhood where there is a lack of trust, do you think things are is that really a good thing? Probably not, right? Parents won't trust their children, children won't trust their parents, neighbors won't trust each other, husbands and wives won't trust each other, citizens won't trust the government, and the government won't trust the citizens. You'll find that if trust is falling apart in a society, it's a really bad sign, because it's really the backbone of a neighborhood or a community or friendship or any kind of relationship is trust. If you don't trust the people that are surrounding you, whether it be your family members or your friends, you're probably not doing too good, All right, so that's the first one. It's an easy one, but it's one that we should discuss, right? Second, we're going to say the second thing is defensiveness. If defensiveness is on the uprise in your society, then your society is probably on the down spiral. You know what I mean? You gotta think, right? Life is not a given. It's a fight. And when it comes to fighting, there is the offensive approach, where you fight back, and then there is the defensive approach, or reproach, where you kind of maybe wait and maybe wait for a better time to fight, or something like that. I don't know. And if you're constantly defending yourself, then you're probably losing the fight. Because if you're never gonna throw a punch back, you're never gonna win. That's guaranteed you're never gonna win. You gotta hit back every once in a while. You think about us today. I wasn't gonna say about us today, but we'll just point out that when I was younger, we didn't have as many snow days. So here where I live, it snows, and when it snows, they cancel the buses. Or at least when it's dangerous snow, But now it's like anytime it snows, they seem to cancel the buses. My younger sibling has way more snow days than I did when I was her age. So that's more of a defensive approach. Same thing with the common flu, People nowadays in 2023 are very hyper alert when it comes to colds and sickness and the flu. They're terrified of it. You know, it's the invisible enemy. It's everywhere. It's out to get you. And so that again is another defensiveness. You know, you're constantly, oh, I'm scared. I don't want to go outside. So that kind of mentality is not sustainable. So again, in empires throughout history, you'll find that towards their later stages or just before they really collapse, they had a really defensive attitude. Think of Hadrian's Wall. When Rome was kind of going on its way out, when it kind of hit its high peak and then it became kind of defensive with, you know, Hadrian's Wall is a pretty good example. Think of the Great Wall of China, you know. It never really stopped the Mongolians, but it stopped them for a bit, you know. And you can see how they justify it too. It's a really tricky business. Well, we can't do that. We got to protect ourselves. We have to protect ourselves, and protecting ourselves is important, but in moderation. After all, I wouldn't call living in a bubble living at all. Life is risky for a reason, you know. That's what makes it, that's what gives it its edge. So that's numero dos. Number three, I was having a hard time picking which one I would talk about. And which one did pessimism. Pessimism is the one that I think is very prominent towards the later stages of an empire, is when people are very not hopeful when it comes to the future. I mean, when they start talking bad about their kids, you know, you gotta think, right? It's not good. An early empire is hopeful. A people who are just on the rise are charismatic, they're optimistic, they have a lot of hope, and they believe in themselves. When people stop that, when they don't have that anymore, and they think everything is going to shit, and life sucks, and I hate everyone, and life hates me, it's like, dude, get a grip. For example, think of Rome, before it was that big empire that we all love, right? It was just this small little republic. And in 410 BC, these barbarians, these Gallic tribes managed to make their way over the Alps, and they made their way into Italy, and they sacked Rome. And the people weren't like, oh no, we gotta give up, we have to, we're nothing. No, they're like, okay guys, get the Vestal Virgins out of the temple, get the Senate, we're going to the hills, we're gonna survive this is just a small hiccup, we will come back and we will be stronger than ever. Yeah, that's a resolution right there. They had resolution, baby. They had balls, they had guts, and because of that they had glory. So now that we've discussed the three things that we came here to discuss, trust, what were they? Defense and pessimism, the three indicators, or many more, that your empire is at the final stages of its life cycle. We also know the solutions now. So when it comes to trust, you yourself be more trustworthy, be honest, take responsibility, accept reality for what it is, and face it. You know, that in itself will encourage other people to do more, right? Because people lead by example. Second, defensiveness. It's okay to be defensive. It's okay to be defensive, but it's also okay to be offensive. You just gotta know when to do either one. And third, pessimism. Be optimistic. You know what? I haven't even looked it up, but I'm sure there are some scientific studies that tell you that people who have an optimistic mindset, people that they're just better, they're just probably making more money, they're probably having healthier relationships, they're probably living happier lives. And it's something you can choose, I think, personally, to just look on the bright side, man. Stop looking on the dark side. You know, it's, why are you doing that? You know, why are you doing that to yourself? I watch people suffer, and it's like, most of the time it's in their imagination. They're just having a hard time with life up here. Because reality, it's like, they got food, they got everything they need. Come on. I don't know, maybe I'm just too easygoing. I guess that's it. Cool. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see each other another time. And hopefully the Empire is still here when we talk. I'm sure it's not going anywhere. You know, a lot of people say, actually, one more note, sorry. A lot of people say that we live in a different age. We live in the times of technology and airplanes and cell phones, and we can learn nothing from history, and we're different. Nothing that happened in history is going to happen to us. You know what? They thought the same thing. Peace out. Yeah. Yeah.